Tim Tebow gets his first chance, first pass, first play of the new overtime.
There, steps in front of me, said, Timmy, do you realize what happened? And I'm like, yeah. We just beat the Steelers. We're going to play the Patriots. He's like, yeah, I know what happened, dude. Like, why'd you ask me such a silly question? Then he goes, no. Do you know what happened?
Have you ever wondered if God cares about sports? Well, in this video, we're going to dive into that very question, and Tim Tebow shares the supernatural experience while playing football. This is crazy, guys, so let's get right into it. Shout out to Sean Ryan. Let's get into it.
I really feel like there was so much of me that was just selfish in that moment. And not all in the worst way, but some of it of just, man, I wanted to prove the doubters wrong. I wanted to show them we could do this. I wanted to make a statement. I wanted to win for my team and the fans, my family, and all of this. And again, that's not all wrong, but there was a piece of it that was just selfish for me. And I had no idea it was 3 years later from the day. And we play this game and we win in overtime. I still think it's the fastest overtime in NFL history. And we win. It's a real moment. And it's just like, it's unbelievable. And the crowd stays for well over an hour after the game, going crazy and going to the locker room. And I changed and I got to go talk to the media and I don't really want to. And right before I walk in this big room packed full of media, there's all these curtains out front and I'm standing in front and Patrick, our PR guy, there steps in front of me, said, Timmy, do you realize what happened? And I'm like, yeah. We just beat the Steelers. We're going to play the Patriots. He's like, yeah, I know what happened, dude. Like, why'd you ask me such a silly question? And he goes, no. Do you know what happened? And I'm like, I thought I did. Patrick, what happened? Because you could just see this different demeanor. And he said, Timmy, no, you don't know what happened. Timmy, it's exactly 3 years from the night that you wore John 3:16 under your eyes. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's awesome. That's so cool. And he said, no, you don't realize it. Timmy, during the game, you threw for 316 yards. And I'm like, what? And he said, Timmy, during the game, your yards per rush were 3.16. Your yards per completion were 31.6. The ratings for the night were 31.6. And the time of possession was 31.6.
That is the most insane thing I've heard in my entire life. How is that even possible? I want to look this up at the end to see it. Like those stats. I wonder if they have them somewhere. I'm going to try to find that.
During the night, over 90 million people have Googled John 3:16. It's the #1 trending thing all over. And I think he even mentioned something about there were so many people tweeting about it that like Twitter even froze or something like that. At least that was what I was told. And I was standing in that hallway. And I don't think I had the reaction that a lot of people think I did. Because I went from a high and a celebration and a joy to a conviction and a disappointment.
Why?
Yeah.
Because when he was telling me that, I knew that God was convicting me, saying, Timmy, you thought tonight was about a game.
Wow.
You thought it was about all of these things. It's never just about a game. I didn't die for a game. And I was so convicted, still grateful that God would use something, but convicted, man, my eyes were on the wrong thing. My heart was in the wrong place. I knew you. I knew what you'd done, but my heart was here and my eyes were here. I knew the truth. I just wasn't focused on it.
Wow.
I was having all of these selfish ambitions and goals. And it was also this reminder, but I can even use it when your heart's not right. I can even use you. I can use something that you did 3 years ago and started 3.5 years ago, and you didn't even know that I was doing something. Because I honestly thought after 3 years, when the first time I just thought, man, well, that's cool. But you also think, that's cool, God, but it's done. And he's like, no, you have no idea what I'm doing. You have no idea. And I was just so convicted. I didn't even want to walk into the media. Not that I really wanted to anyways, but, and then I go in there and I'm answering questions and so many of them, they want to ask me about it because it's buzzing. You can hear them even talking, but some of them kind of ask me to the side. They're like, oh, all of these, numbers adding to 316, 316, 316. And a few of them to the side, they're like, oh, that's a big coincidence. Like, they don't even want to ask in the microphone, you know? And they're like, wow, what a big coincidence. Something like that to me. And
Coincidence?
yeah. And I said,
That's what they call it?
a few of them on like the side, because they don't even ask it. And I said, well, we could believe it's a really big coincidence, or we could believe that we serve a really big God. And it's just one of those moments for me. And I think God used it and for a lot of people, but I also think he was trying to teach me something too.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's also very difficult, like, to say, oh, God wanted the Broncos to win that game over the Steelers. Not necessarily, but there are things at work. You have no idea what's going on and how much actually games like that do affect society and people all around the world. But at the end of the day, if God is using you, it's not really about you. It's about what God is doing through you. And it can be very difficult for our brains to realize it 100%. It's easy for you to get a big head and think, oh, this is all about me. This is me doing it. No. So we got to make sure we stay humble and give glory to God in all that we do. But it's still very hard. It's very difficult.
And that one, we have no idea what he's doing. But even when we know the truth, how easy our eyes and our heart can leave it. And it was very humbling for me. And even going back and celebrating with my family and friends, and we had so many that were in town, it was a celebration with also a conviction, if that makes sense at the same time. And God's done so much of that. Even when I've told the story a few times on some different shows, it's, you know, gone viral on that. And people, one of the first things that people mention when I'm in South Africa with my wife, John 3:16. And, you know, it's just so humbling that I could just be a part of it. But there's a piece of me that feels unequipped and like unworthy. God would do some of that with it. And I would say that the more I've been able to process that, the more I could say, man, I'm so grateful and celebrate it. But I never want to get to that place again where I think, God, you did something, but you're done. Because we have no idea what he's doing and how he's using it. And I don't want to put God in a box. And I feel like so many times I've had, like, and we have no idea what he's doing. And do you know all the things that had to happen at the end of that game for all of that to change? I mean, the fastest overtime in NFL history, one play, 80 yards in the exact amount of time. And one of those things go off, all of them go off. And yet, just, it's what our God does, just more than we could ask, think, or imagine. And definitely because we don't deserve it.
Wow.
I wonder how many people were on the fence and then saw that happen and realized it was real, that he is real. A lot of people.
Hope so.
Pretty amazing.
Hope so.
You know,
That's crazy. I want to look up these stats now. In 2011, divisional playoff game between the Denver Broncos and Pittsburgh Steelers, Tim Tebow threw for 316 yards and averaged 31.6 yards per completion. Wow, that's a lot. The game is also known as the 316 game, was filled by the coincidence related to the number 316, including the Steelers' time of possession. Oh, wow. Of 31.06. An interception by Ben Roethlisberger on 3rd and 16, and the game's overnight rating of 316. That's crazy. Yeah, that totally has to be a God thing. Because of John 3:16 and what Tim Tebow was trying to 3 years ago do, to use a game like that. Wow.
Tim Tebow gets his first chance. First pass, first play of the new overtime.
Wow. That's crazy. Did they say anything about the 316?
John Elway can't believe it. John Elway made famous for one of the longest game-winning drives in playoff history, watches a one throw from Tim Tebow to Demaryius Thomas. And that is the way Tim Tebow and Demaryius Thomas, the first-round picks of Josh McDaniels, will see Josh McDaniels next week in New England. Holy smokes!
Wow.
That is the way the Denver Broncos wrap up.
Wow, that's crazy. See, Tim Tebow, 316 yards right there. So, guys, I encourage you to trust in Jesus, know that he's good, and he loves you so, so much.